Hello, welcome back to Conversations with Shiko, and today we'll be talking about the art of showing up. I'm joined by my sister, Njoki Rikuga, and she's one amazing person that I know who shows up and the best person to talk about this topic. Before we jump in, let us let her tell us more about who she is, what she does, and her passion. Welcome to
Thank you. I'm Joki, simply your sister, more awesomely, and I'm passionate about impacting people, impacting spaces that I'm in, and adding value. So the bottom line, whatever I do, wherever I'm at, with whomever I'm at, the conversations, whether it's doing things, let it be one that either adds value or has an impact. That's me.
Great. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Showing up means a lot. It's being there for your friends, for yourself, for your family, for the community. Want to understand what is showing up to you.
So how I've always looked at it, actually it's just the other day that I was thinking showing up has been a big thing for me and even for those around me. So how I look at it is mainly, being there. That's one. And then I'd say being there fully. And then I'd say being present. But then doing that intentionally and reliably. And yourself, what are your passions and promises and causes? What are your dreams and goals? What are your responsibilities, whether professionally or personally? And additionally, and look at just everything that spark you, the passion that you have. So showing up for yourself will mean everything that matter to you, directly and indirectly. And I'd look at it also from others. I'd say whether it's key milestones in their life, whether it's life events, whether it's and this could be again professionally and personally for the people that are there for you. And at the same time, being present, being there fully, being 100%, but you do all that intentionally and reliably. So that's basically what just showing up means for me. Yeah.
That's great. So, like Njoki has said, showing up is being intentional, showing up 100% to your friends, to your family, and just being there fully when you need it. So, as we talk about showing up, how have you, because we've been together like all our lives, and you're one person that I've seen you show up for your friends, your family, always there. So, how do you do it?
All right. So I believe that the way you mentioned that, showing up for self. So for self, how I look at it is, what are your dreams and goals, and so you show up to that. Then I look at what are the passions that you have and the causes that you believe in, and then you show up for those. And then what are the promises that you made to yourself and to others, then you show up for that. And then what are your responsibilities as a person, to yourself, to your family, to your friends, to the society. So what are your responsibilities from a personal front and professionally, then you show up. So while understanding that from a personal point of view, that has meant the things that I want to do, the things that I'm passionate about, the causes that I'm passionate about, and what I must do from a responsibility point of view, I show up for that. And then the other one is now friends and family. Yes, you would see me in, the parties, or you see me as we need to address something, as we need to figure out solutions, as we just need to sit down. And for that, I believed in creating memories and moments with people, and this could be in good and bad times, and also through life, the journey of life. So with that, then that has meant that a family member has something, let's do it, or let's do something. A family member needs something, let's do it. And same to friends. A friend has a big life event happening, show up. And when it comes to the community, it means that something is happening around it, and again, linking it to I'm passionate about whatever that is, or I'm able to provide, then I come in. So that way, whether it is time that's required of me, and I'm required to be present, required just to be there, then I have showed up. Where it's required of, what skills and talents do I have, and I can give it up, I've showed up with those. And where it's just knowledge and whether connection, I've given up. And where it's resources, if I have, I've also provided. So looking at, what's required by whom, when, for self and for others, and just making it work at all times is how I've been able to do it. Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a lot of showing up, because there's yourself, there's your friends, there's your family, there's the community at large, and you still need to show up. So how do you get to balance all this? Because it's a lot.
Yes, you're right. So definitely, you know me in terms of my super planner. I plan when I'll have coffee with you. I plan when, you know, when is whose birthday and I'll show up. So what has worked for me throughout when I think about it is I've always planned. So I'd look at, okay, you know, is there a birthday on Saturday? Then I'd commit and say yes, I'll come. And when I say yes, I'll come, I will come.
Sure.
Then there is exactly, and so a lot of planning, and also I've been able to communicate clearly. So what I've seen is where I need to say yes, I'll do it. I'm able. It could be on time or not, but I've been able to communicate clearly if I'm able to do it. But I've prioritized as well. So for example, you'll find, okay, I'm having, you know, I have to do something for myself that has a deadline, but at the same time, my friend wants us to have a dinner. At the same time, family just needs us to do something. So I'll prioritize in the sense that, you know, is something movable? Is it urgent? Is it important? Can it be moved? And then I'll see how to attend. And then I spread them over time. So planning, prioritizing, then I commit. So once I say yes, I'll do it. Even if I won't chat every day to say not to worry, I'm still doing it. I will show up. And then of course after now it comes to I've committed. It's just getting to do it. That's how I've been able to do. So I'm a planner naturally, so a lot of planning and scheduling, and then just making sure if I've said I'm in it, find a way of making it happen.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when you're looking at the planning, you're saying planning, and you have to look at the days that are coming. So if you have 2 friends, 3 friends that you have to meet, you plan them accordingly. And then it's also balancing your own life, things that are happening, there's work as well.
You're right.
So there's different ways of showing up. And a lot of, like, when you're talking about showing up, sometimes people will think it's physical, like I have to be there. So what are other ways that you seen yourself showing up for others, and it's not necessarily being there physically for the person?
Okay. So what I've observed generally, if we're talking about time, not everyone has all the time in the world, yeah? So when you talk about showing up in terms of just coming and being there, you need me to be a whole day there, you need me to be a couple of hours later. It's about, okay, you know, prioritizing what I have. And so for time, we all have equal, you know, amount of time. So it's been more about prioritizing and saying, you know, for time, I'll be there. Then when it comes to resources, so definitely I'm not yet the billionaire. I intend to do that because I said I'd want to show up resource-wise for everyone and for everything. Yeah, and so for resources, what I've looked at is what I say is money can always be made. So that's how I look at things. And so if it's where I have money, I'll say, you know what, if someone needs something and requires something, I'll give it. And then and so with that, I've just been able to spread, you know, is it a fundraiser here that you're fundraising for, you know, drought in Trukanan, and say, okay, for that one I'm able to give 1,000 here. Then I'll say, okay, is it you know, something someone else needs in my life, they need us to support in something, then I give it. So I spread what I have across to the extent I can, as again I see that as an opportunity for me to make sure I make more so that I achieve, you know, resource wise. For skills and talent, what I've seen is there are things that I do effortlessly and I know about how to do, or I can figure it out to do. So whether it's spending time with someone to just share, you know, what do I know, how can you do it, what do I think, whether through a conversation or whether through just sitting down and, you know, working through something, then I've created time to actually do that. And, you know, interestingly, some of my nieces and nephews call them the cool auntie, and I've earned it. And I was thinking about it because I actually create the time to do what I need to do and share to the extent I can. So it's more of and now for myself, I've thought about what are the things that, you know, I must do for myself based on the dreams and goals that I have for myself. And because all of it integrates in what I call social, you know, wellness, or just being okay. And this is important not only for me and also for others, and you're as good as, you know, those around you and the society around you. Then I've found moments and pieces and opportunities, you know, to piece all this together.
I can't really add anything. I would say, like, being there, it's not just physical. You have skills, you have resources, and you can look at how can you spread yourself and equally be there for your community. And I think because, like, Rotary and the events where you need to do things like even planting trees, that's showing up. You're showing up for the community in a different way. So that's really cool. You're wondering, why do I need to show up for all these things while I can just be, be by myself and do what I like without having to put myself out there. So maybe for you, what motivates you? Why do you do it?
Okay. So one is the showing up. For me, because I've always just shown up automatically. I think it's what humans do, or it's what life is about. So showing up is just what life is about, and with that, then whether it's things and spaces you need to do. And remember, we're talking about for yourself as well. So for you to get to wherever that is, for you to succeed, in whatever that is, as a person and as a group, and also for you to be happy. So why I'd say showing up is important. I believe it's important for yourself because you feel a sense of growth or movement or progress or joy when you show up. So it's important to you in that sense, and then it's important to others because we live with each other. We require things from each other. Just imagine having a party, so you have a lot of money and you've thrown this big party, but no one comes. It doesn't become a party, right? So showing up, I think, when you talk about it's part of life, is you can have one side of things in life, but without the other person doing something, even by just coming for that party, then it's not a party. Yet you have, one of the major things that could make party a party. The other one is when you talk about part of life, we're saying there are moments that we need each other, whether it's directly for those you know and for those you don't know. So picture, worst case scenario in life, you're in hospital and you need people to visit you. Of course, there are those who do it, the churches and some organizations who do it because that's what they do, so they'd visit you. But it would be wonderful if you would have people who show up for you also when you need it. And sometimes when we're talking about you need to pick, other people's brains and other people's input. So when you show up, you get to also get back, depending on, everyone is unique. So you get to pull out the uniqueness of others around you and away from you. And so what I've seen directly for myself, and it's unexpectedly, again, because I didn't show up because I was there, make sure you show up. I just found myself showing up for things. So I've seen a lot of support coming my way. I've seen growth. I've seen opportunities from unexpected places. And this one is just looking back now. And then what I'm doing now, I'm saying intentionally, what do I want to do moving forward? Perhaps my belief that it's part of life is what has built to that. But also I saw showing up being demonstrated. Interestingly, I pick this a lot, but one of the people that I saw showing up a lot in my life was my dad. So whether I needed, okay, let me chat to you about things, can you create an hour? It wouldn't even be a question. You would talk for an hour. He'd give you everything that he knows, to the extent he can. Whether it was I was in school and visiting, it would be at visit you. Whether it was I take you somewhere, he'd hold. It's a whole day event. He'd best be chasing money out there, but he was present. And when I look back and I remember, I'm like, wait, one of the biggest thing, just being there and being present and guiding someone and listening is one of the things that you can give someone. And then when I look at it myself, showing up for the things that have directly, mattered to me, have given me a lot of happiness and also have made me progress in my, whether it's professionally, whether it's connections that I have. So I have very healthy relationships. And most of the time, when I look at the different circles that I have, I basically have it. So it all adds up somehow.
It's very true. I agree. I think when you're showing up for others, there's also a better connection. So if you meet someone just once, then you won't be able to connect with this person deeper. So you're showing up for them more, they're showing up for you, you're able to have deeper conversations, you're talking about knowledge sharing, you're able to discuss further. You'll not know everything. So you meet someone else who's probably in a different industry and you get to connect and chat more. So you won't have to go like a mile, or even maybe it's a topic that you're not interested in, but when someone is talking about it because they know it, then you're able to gain that knowledge automatically. So we are saying there's the showing up, there's, you have to be out there for people have to be there for you, you have to be there for yourself. But there are instances where, or circumstances that will make you not be there. So have you, over these years, maybe can give us 2 or 3 examples where you just couldn't be there for yourself or for someone else?
Yes. So what I've seen is one would be that like there can be a lot going on in life. So depending on whether it's professionally, personally, there can be a lot. And so that means the things that you want to do for self and you want to show up for self, you're not able to do as you would love. And again, life is moving, so everyone else is having, the birthdays, the weddings, or they need to have the coffee dates or the dinner dates, but you're not able to come as you would. And then people need, conversations, whether on phone, whether on chat, but you're having a million things that you're trying to balance. And so with that, when a lot is going on personally and professionally, you're not able to show up as you'd like. And remember, I'm a believer of showing up 100%.
Yeah.
So the last couple of years, like for me, I think when I think about it, the last four or so years, I've not showed up the way I would love to show up for myself, for the things that, my dreams and goals, chasing them, and the passions and the causes that I want. At the same time, the people that matter to me, those that are close, I would, love, I enjoy and I'd love to have, have been there for everything. And so when a lot is happening, I've found that it's not possible to just show up, either because of the bandwidth that I have or the time that I have, and the energies that are there are not allowing me to show up the way I would love to show up. So yeah, that happens, and so that's one. More on energies, a lot going on. It's an overwhelming time. And then the second one, maybe that I've seen I'm not able to show up fully, is when you've showed up, and you can't show up anymore. So and especially this would come in spaces of those that are around you. For example, it can be a matter of resources. So for example, you have this neighbor who calls you because my shop is closing, or the next time is my business, the next time. So you've kept showing up, and sometimes you show up because you believe there's the next, but then when you see they're not showing up for themselves, they're not showing up for anyone else because they'll never show for other people as well, and they're not showing up for the community. So for that one, I've struggled in terms of when do you say no, or when do you say yes. So I think those are the moments more on where you feel that you've showed up, and now defining when not to show up. And I'm in that phase currently, especially given that the way we said earlier, resources are limited, time is limited, and one's wants to accomplish this. So when do you and when do you not? So yeah.
You have had it from one person that I know is always there. I think even people who are very close to me was like, how does your sister do it? And you've had it, so don't ask me that question again.
No, but interestingly, there's something I'm thinking about. So I have a friend who made a comment. So I have 3 comments. Someone told me, Njoki, you should save yourself the way you save the community. So that was one. Then the second one, a friend of mine told me, at one point we used to wonder where we would fit in your schedule. And the third one said, you know what, I'll wait for you to call me. And in those moments, that's when I thought, okay, perhaps in some spaces that matter, I'm not showing up the way I would. And definitely I'm happy with how I show up, but there are things that I could work on.
Yeah, definitely. I think you also mentioned priority. Sometimes it can be a lot of things that you have to show up for, but now how do you prioritize? Now what is important? Because you could be showing up for someone and they, like you say, they're not showing up for themselves and they're not showing up for you. So then that one you're like, okay, this is not a priority. Maybe I put it aside and look at what matters to
at this time,
and now show up at that time, and being present at that time, right? So I think that is summarizes everything. So for someone who's listening and they're wondering, probably they're doing it's on and off. I also struggle with that. Sometimes I'll have 100% energy to show up for myself and others, and then it'll get to a point where I'm just like, okay, why do this? So what are some of the key points? You've talked about planning. So what is something else that you can do as a person who can advise us to do so that I'm able to, prioritize when able to show up for others and for myself?
Okay. So so I think one is just be there. Remember, for me, showing up is being there. So sometimes it's just show up, just be there. So someone has sent you an invitation, please come to to my birthday dinner. Just go. just go. It could be you could better spend time, the way, watching, something, but just go because your friend matters.
Looking at everything that we have talked about, there is showing up for yourself, for your friends, for the community. It's about creating time for yourself and for others around you. And it's also about, even if you're not being able to show up 100%, you're able to show up, 90, 80, you're still there. Just be there. She said, just be there for, being there and also having energies as well. And it's at work, business meetings, birthdays, parties, bad times and good times. You just have to, be intentional about it. So I hope that you've gotten one or two things and you're going to practice. Everything that we have talked about, there is showing up for yourself, for your friends, for the community. It's about creating time for yourself and for others around you. And it's also about, even if you're not being able to show up 100%, you're able to show up, 90, 80, you're still there. Just be there. She said, just be there for, being there and also having energies as well. And it's at work, business meetings, birthdays, parties, bad times and good times. You just have to, be intentional about it. So I hope that you've gotten one or two things and you're going to practice. And so much, Rocky, for giving us and sharing with us your time, the knowledge and skills. I'm sure we've gotten one or two things that we're going to implement for ourselves. So remember to create time, build resources, share your skills and talent as you do everyday things with everyday people.
Just show up.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.